Hey, welcome back to another episode of Geekified. It is myself, Chris, and I don't know, is it Peter Parker? Is it Miles Morales?
Your
Who?
friendly neighbourhood model. What's happening?
You guys show off the toy, show it, let's go.
Let's
Go
see if
into
I
the
can.
eyes.
I can't do my chicken thing, but it does do this. Then I need to
That's
get it
absolutely
fuck off
quality.
because I can't see anything at all.
Well, yeah, that's the hard part about those things. That they're very well made, very well designed, but you can't see shit. That's the biggest issue. But obviously, it's a big week for Marvel fans. It's one of the biggest movies that's been out for a while. It's not really had a miss, and we're here to discuss whether or not it is a hit or a miss this time. It's Spider-Man Brand New Day. I got to see it yesterday, got to see it last night, and well, yeah, it was a big thumbs up from me. I won't delve too deep straight away, but what did you think, Ryan?
Oh god, man, it's a weird one for me. Right. I'll say this first of all. I really like what it means for the Marvel universe, and I know
Yeah.
it's Sony as well in this one, but I really like what it means. There's so much I love about it, right? But I just found that there was just a wee bit lacking of it. And I seen it with my friend and we were talking about it, and he was a wee bit more disparaging on it than I was. But I was like, and some of it's my own fault is the problem. This is what I was saying before we started. Quickly, I was
Yeah.
saying I'm actually kind of annoyed at myself for some of my views. It sounds like ridiculous, but like, for instance, I know we've tried to get away from the whole big CGI, just big fight kind of thing, right? And I agree when it feels like it's no weight or anything. I think the choreography in that was really good in it, but I can't think of the scene, the big tentpole scene, the big, like, that. Do you know what I mean? That you go, oh that. Oh, actually, like the last Spider-Man with the three Spider-Man going about and spinning together and all that. And I think it falls on because there wasn't really a villain, and like that is my biggest problem with it, is the character that we'll get to speaking about, Sadie Sink, is that. And it annoys me because I really enjoy
Just
it.
to be aware, sorry, like we're not going to make any spoilers straight away. When we get to a spoiler point, we'll say it's going to be spoiler review from here on, but we're just going to lightly touch over it and then we'll say spoilers. Sorry.
Exactly. That's why I'm not saying anything at the moment. But that's my biggest problem with it. But when I came away from it, there's a lot I liked. But when I thought about it, even just minutes, I was thinking I can't think of a scene that is that big Spider-Man scene. I can't think of a scene. And there's a lot kind of like sparkled about it, right? But there's not that one that is like, I love that. And I'm like, am I an idiot? Am I just missing the big CGI battles when this is what we wanted, a more grounded Spider-Man in New York? And all that I love about it. But I could have probably done with 10 to 20 minutes less of Spider-Man crying in his room and 10 to 20 minutes more of the beginning bit where he's being Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean? That is my kind of thing about it, is sometimes, well, like the last film, which doesn't do as great in a rewatch. I think this will. I think this is one of these films that will do better in a rewatch, right? But the last film, which is about the same length, I didn't want it to end. When I realised you're coming to the end, you're like, ah, oh, let's see. This one, I was kind of like, my ass is starting to hurt, man. Like, how much has this got going left? And I don't want to feel that. This is why I feel. This is what I'm saying. I'm angry at myself. There's so much I like about it. I really like about it, but I found myself a bit bored at bits. And I was like, bored's maybe not the right word, but just kind of like, can we get to something happening? And I mean, I think one of my problems as well, I think, which again my own fault, is I wanted more Hulk and Punisher, which would I really expect? They're going to be less in it, but there wasn't enough of that, especially the Hulk. That was a blue balls, man.
Yeah. I just don't. I think you've got a lot of good points over that. Like for me, it was. I thought it was balanced well, but I did go in like having known full well that it was literally Tom Holland had talked about this and said that they were bringing Spider-Man down a peg and it was going to be more grounded. They brought in Destin Daniel Cretton in, who is more kind of kung fu style fighting, very stylized. So the minute those people came into place, I knew it was going to be a bit more kind of close up. I knew it wasn't going to be as grand. It wasn't going to be like you're talking about the big massive fights and swinging all over the place, like big massive things blowing up. I knew that was the kind of style that we are going to get. But I know what you mean. There wasn't like a big piece. Like there was always that kind of third act where there was something massive, and there really wasn't anything massive at the end, which is unusual. Well, the massive, obviously, end was the part of the story, which, like I said, we're going to talk about the reveal of that character shortly. But I do get where you're coming from. I agree with you on that point. I disagree with you on the Spider-Man in his room being upset, because I think that was needed. I think we had to really have a good understanding. I felt bad for him. I felt his loneliness, and I don't think that I would have got there if it wasn't for so much of a exposition dump of how so lonely he's feeling, how crappy everything's going for his life. And I think it was a good. It's not the Spider-Man that I kind of think of from when I was younger, about the kind of wee guy in his room and the place is an absolute riot when he's sitting with probably about 30 grand's worth of screens and tech and all that. And I just kind of like, we tried to bring it down a wee bit by saying like, oh, he's moving into that flat with asbestos and stuff. You're like, Spider-Man kind of back in the day just, he had articles in a police radio, you know what I mean? It was like that kind of stuff. But I mean, like, this Tom Holland's one sitting with like God knows how many pieces of equipment. And I get it. It's obviously because of Tony Stark. It's a history. The guy's obviously, he's a genius as well. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to do what he does. So I kind of get that. But that's the only thing. I agree with you and disagree with you on that one.
No, and you made some really good points, and this is what I say about why I'm kind of annoyed at myself for not loving that stuff as much as I thought I would. Because that, on paper, is what I want. I wanted the grounded Spider-Man. I wanted the guy that is doing his friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man stuff that is the, and I didn't want the Stark Tech, the thing. I wanted that away, and that is what a lot of this film does, which is, I agree with you about in his room, but everything he's got about. But apart from that, that is what most of this film does. And I wish, and don't get me wrong, I basically think it's this. I think it's going to be the polar opposite from me of what the last Spider-Man film was with Tobey Maguire. I forget the name all the time, with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in it, right? That film...
The brain fart as well, was it called?
I know, right, they're all something day, I can't remember, but that the last one, right? When I watched that, it finished for that for me because it was in so far. I was loving it so much. I was so fanning out, right? That I loved it, and I would talk about it. I was like, that was amazing. That's the best one I've seen. On a rewatch, I was like, it's actually, when you go over that kind of bit of the characters, I was like, it's really on shaky ground. It's not that great. The plot sucks. Blah blah. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. But then the scene comes and you go, oh, see Spider-Man, yeah. Like, but the more you rewatch it, the more that diminishes, and you don't get that. But I think this film's going to be the polar opposite. That I was watching it, kind of like, well, where's that? But on a a rewatch, I'm going to be like, actually, really like that. See, actually, I think it's basically the opposite of the last one. The last one diminishes the more you watch it. I think this one will gain stuff. I was just felt a wee bit wanting of where was my big Hulk scene? Where was this scene? Where was that scene? That I realised the film wasn't really going for, which I think. This is why I'm saying I feel like they did here. I can't help what I feel, but I know my brain's telling me I'm wrong.
Yeah, I know, I get that.
But my heart didn't see what I wanted to see, but I know my brain's like, this is what you wanted, this is better, it's written better. And it's not about like, the fight's not being good, because the choreography was brilliant, and that is literally taken for the Insomniac games. I've played the first one of that, and I was laughing because even the guys that come out with the batons, the big electric batons, that happens in the game because usually you can dodge that, but when that you can block or something. But when these guys come out, you can't block them. It's similar to the Batman game, so you need to dodge or something. So you need to change your fighting style, and they literally done that. And I'm like, that's cool as shit. Like I like that, and I think there's so. This is what I mean. There's so much I can say good about it, but we'll get to my biggest problem, and I think this is the main temple that kind of brings everything down. But I don't want we'll get spoiler territory for that, so we'll wait.
Yeah. So, like what you were saying there, like I totally agree. You have to think, why do you still watch like action movies from like the 90s and noughties?
Now and again, yeah, I do because they're also my favourite. But like, probably not as much as my mate Calvin always does. He's like, I'm watching this film tonight, and that, and it's like, oh yeah, I should watch that. Why am I waiting for? I've got a thing that sometimes I want to watch something new. Well, a lot of times,
yeah, of course.
Usually it's nonsense, and I'm like, oh well, I tried it and it didn't work.
Yeah. But you automatically go back to these movies, and the reason you go back to these movies is because you can never quite remember exactly how things go, and that's usually down to explosions, action sequences, and fights. See, when it's the big CGI moments that you get, you remember them. You remember exactly what's going to happen. In the last Spider-Man, it was like more about the shock value and the reveal of characters and big reveal of epic plot points of stories. You know they're going to happen, so you can't really go back and enjoy them, like you're saying. It says, but when there's really good action, and like see some of the fight scenes with a hand, That was epic. It was so good.
Agree and disagree here. Totally about what you're saying about the 90s. I think there's a difference, and this is what I spoke about weight. And I mean literal weight and the weight that it brings to the scene. Because when things are CGI, all CGI, your brain instantly goes, I know this isn't really happening at all. Right? So I need my phone away so you can spend
That's Kevin
when
Feige.
it's something for the 90s, sorry, don't make it across. When it's something for the 90s, they filmed it with like either real cars exploding through things or miniatures that kind of give it's still something blown up, right? So like when you said those films, instantly in my head I think The Matrix, I think Terminator 2, I think Predator, I think things like that, right? That I will watch a million times, and Aliens. And the thing is there was real tangible things in the scene. Do you know what I mean? So I think that getting a bit of a different thing, but that gave the action scenes a bit more weight that your brain goes, well, this is kind of really happening, right? Whereas too much CGI fest, your brain knows it's not happening. However, with the last Spider-Man film and that, they had the thing of, oh my god, it's the three Spider-Men together, right? And even the thing them using the move together and that, I still think that's amazing and going around. That's all CGI, but when you're watching it for the first time, it's also got the nostalgic of finally get the three Spider-Men together. But on a rewatch, if you're not just watching it on a tube or on a scene, it does diminish. Whereas I think the ones for the 90s don't diminish as much because you're still seeing something break through, something crash, do so. So there's a bit of a thing in you that's like, oh, it's happening kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the CGI fest ones do diminish because you're like, yeah, big explosion, how much bigger can it get? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really do it. Kind of lost track of my point, but but I mean, the ones that stick in your brain, I think it's something they've kind of lost basically. But there's some great fight scenes these days, but they do rely on nostalgia so much that they don't hold up as much on rewatches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to, like you said, I'm going to go back and watch this. I'll happily watch this one again. Whereas the last one, I've not watched again. I've only watched it that one time in the cinema, and I've not went back.
I have, and there's literally a YouTube video. Sorry, creator guy, have you made it? Because I can't remember. But he literally said it's literally titled something like Spider-Man. Last one gets worse the more you watch it. And I was like, oh, because I was like, I have seen it once in the cinema, and then with my nephews and all that kind of thing, my cousins, and it was awesome. I loved it. I watched it again, and I was like, oh, didn't quite click on it how that makes fucking no sense. And then I watched it again, and I was like, that annoys me. And it was, so as I say, I think this one, as you said, I think I'm going to watch it again and go, actually, that seems really cool. Actually, that brings him to this point. You know what I mean? Apart from the big glaring issue that we'll get to when we're talking spoiler talk.
But we need to get into spoiler territory now if we want to dig any deeper. Because obviously there's one overarching massive point about the entire film, and that's the villain, like you said like a couple of minutes ago. There's a lack of a villain, but there is a villain until we get the realisation. So spoiler time. Give it a couple of seconds if you want to skip. Like we'll probably talk about this.
You want to get to? We count. We'll get 5, 4. We get the 3. We get 2. We get 1. Spoiler.
Sadie Sink's character. So Sadie Sink obviously joined the MCU. She was announced last year. I think it was sometime last summer. We knew she was coming in. Nobody had a Scooby-Doo who she was playing, but obviously that enormous giant mop of ginger hair in her head gave a lot away for who she was going to be playing, and it was. I think every single person was right. I did walk into the cinema thinking it might be Mayday Parker, given the kind of timelines and stuff like that. I didn't know if it was going to be that or it was a couple other people, but everyone knew it was going to be the one and the only Jean Grey. So Jean Grey, bringing her in is such a reference to people who don't know who she is, and I've got no idea because we don't talk about her. Didn't call her a mutant. We just said she's her name Jean Grey. That was it. And that was the weirdest thing about the whole film. So I was trying to think,
sorry, but I'm glad you picked up on that. Sorry, I just wanted to say I thought that was weird. How the big reveal was just
Jean Grey.
Like,
so to go, I thought anybody who's watching that movie, they'll be like, you may as well put up like Fergus McPherson.
How many girlfriends do you think, and maybe boyfriends at times, had to turn around to somebody and go,
who's Jean Grey? Yeah.
Right?
I thought that was my weird part about it. As much as I was like literally clapping like a demented seal, I was that excited that it was going to be Jean Grey, because obviously a massive X-Men fan, my 2000s boy, and I've seen all the Fox ones, God bless. And I can't wait to see them in Doomsday because they're all going to get killed. Like get mauled, every one of them, and I actually can't wait to see it because I can't wait for all the new ones. Oh, talk about that. There was another announcement half an hour ago for the new X-Men's being announced. I'll tell you at the end.
Well, let's leave it for a bit.
Yeah, leave that. I'll pin in that and come back. But yeah, the whole Jean Grey issue, like I felt was a bit weird because obviously, as happy as I was for it to be Jean Grey because I'm a fan. Why didn't we say who she is? Or were we not talking about mutants? Are we still not allowed to talk about mutants? Are they not?
Well,
we've not announced the film. We've just had
stuff in it.
Yeah, but we've had San Diego Comic-Con as well, and the mutant films are not on the agenda.
No, and this is something overall I thought was good, but what I mean is there was more mutant stuff in it because the device that Peter Parker makes,
mutation prohibitor.
All the time, remember, silences all abilities, mutant abilities, because he's going a mutation. The whole thing. This is why Banner says to him, that's really dangerous territory you're in there. That is leading to probably that guy's, I can't remember the nameless government thing, getting control of that technology to stop to silence mutant powers. Do you know what I mean? That is where that I think is going. But I agree with you that the introduction of Jean Grey was so weird to me because I am not the biggest. I don't know so much about Jean Grey, but I know enough, right? That she usually seems like I know she was meant to be really powerful, but then she get Charles Xavier took her in, blah blah. She's always been very good, very well hearted, and then when the Phoenix envelops her, that's when shit goes down, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen one story before where she inhibits an old man, makes him walk into the middle of the road to get knocked the fuck down.
There's see, in the film world, we've just been given the worst, not the worst story. It's probably the best story, but we've just been given the same story of Phoenix and the Dark Phoenix. Like it's
they're not. I agree. I've put my ignorance up that I only kind of knew of the film ones at first, and I had to research into it. The grander Phoenix story is much better than we've ever seen in film. I get that, but what I mean is that's her going bad story.
Yeah.
Right. To start her. Like, this is my biggest problem, but this is what I was saying earlier on in the video. This is my biggest problem with it, right? Is I am so tired and cannot get onto this idea that Marvel really tried to push recently, is this like, oh, they weren't really the bad guy. All along, they were just doing a good thing. And it's like, okay, I get it. You were looking for your sister, right? But see all the people you murdered on your way? And I know it's like, they had families too. Like, see the old man that you took control of and walked back into the fucking, and you see his body go, and like, he had a family. Yeah. See when you took over NJ and like fucking convinced Peter Parker that he was actually back and then jumped off a fucking building without knowing, like, it's not as if you've read the comics of Spider-Man before. You don't know that he always saves people jumping off buildings. That you try to kill that girl, right? You shot so many people, and I know that towards the end of the film there can be a point to make sure she was shooting the legs and that, and I'm like, but you've already done so much evil. I was with Punisher, who's like, yeah, shut up, I'm gonna fucking kill her. Yeah, because she's the embodiment of evil. Like, this is, have you ever seen, sorry, I'm going to go on a rant, so sorry.
That's okay. Do it.
No, well, if you've got anything to say what I said there, because I'm going to get another point in a bit. And it brings back the 90 film thing, but anyway.
Aye. No, it should be. I totally agree with you. She does. She's literally murdering people left, right, and centre. It's just like, I mean, literally taking over like people's bodies and doing whatever she wants with them. Like, she's just like, these different people are just like you said, the guy getting hit by the car and they'd jumping the guy off the top, and just like it probably wasn't thought out, and there was no redemption for that. She didn't apologise. She didn't talk about it. Nothing was said about it.
The thing that Marvel has a problem with, and it reminded me of Captain Falcon and God damn it, the Disney film show. What was it?
Captain Flappy Pants and the Falcon Bird Man.
Yeah, right. See the terrorists and that, another red-haired chick.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh, they're actually good people because, you know, they get thrown out their homes and that. Like, you blew up so many people, you killed them up, you've murdered your way through everything. You don't get to turn around and go, well, I done it for my cause. No, that's a bad guy.
Yeah,
like,
I still get to see,
this is
like,
why we don't like terrorists.
Yeah.
You don't get to say I done it for my cause, and to say, well, I actually lost my sister, so I murdered all these innocent people, took control, and set the Hulk loose, fucking took and even like I have seen people crack up about things in films because somebody inhabited somebody. There's been a whole story arcs about Charles Xavier because how wrong it is to inhabit somebody else against their will. Never mind murdering anybody or anything like that, right? She does that to everyone in the street. All those people are going to be like, what the fuck happened to me? They may have PTSD, they may have freaking thing, We don't talk about that. She then, as I said, throws an old man, it's not even a young guy, it's an old man that she makes go into a fucking bit bus. You see his body go coink. I remember thinking that was a lot for a PG-13 film.
Yeah.
And she throws MJ off a building, she shoots multiple officers, and then it's like, Spider-Man literally says the words, when she's got all the bits of glass up to the dude, then all he goes, "You're not a killer." Like, she so fucking is, dude. Like, she so is. Like, and this is my biggest problem with it, is, right, so my thing about saying about the 90s film. Have you ever seen the 90s film The Fallen, or just Fallen, with Denzel Washington?
Denzel Washington. I literally said this, like, after I watched it. It was the exact same. It was a jump, like, and all that.
Yeah, and I knew where it was taken from, but really liked it. Right, and excuse me, there was a part in the film because I have tried my best to stay away from spoilers and stuff like that. I'd seen some set photos that I couldn't get away from. I knew there was an idea she might be Jean Grey or somebody else and all that, but I tried to stay away from it as much as I could. So when the first kind of mystery comes up about the thing happening and this going through, I thought there was a choice, even just the way the film had brought me in, I thought there was a chance that there was another bad guy. You know what I mean? Right? And I really liked, because of how evil it was actually made me think, like, surely it can't be, because it was, and it reminded me of The Fallen, and they literally kept taking some of the scenes, walking through New York and being a different person and all that. But you've got to remember that film was about a fucking demon.
Yeah.
Hazel, right? So she's doing the same thing that a literal demon of hell is doing, another thing that we take as a bad guy, but we're meant to kind of shrug it off and be like, well, she was looking for her sister. But I've got a part there, but like it was done really well. I liked it, and I remember as soon as they'd done the scene where she was in his apartment and you seen the hood, I went, oh, it's her. Of course, it's her. And that's when my brain went, it's Jean Grey. But I was like, that is so evil.
Yeah, I'm happy with some theatrical license with some stuff, and I let stuff away with some things. But there was no redemption for her after what she did. That's what I'm saying. That's the one thing I don't disagree with you, but I bring up your point about the terrorist organization from Captain America TV show. Terrorist organizations usually are happy to kill people for the cause because it's a political agenda. She's not in politics. She's there to find her sister. She's
no,
trying
I get it. That's why she's not a literal terrorist. But what I mean is, why you don't like terrorists is you're not allowed to kill people for your reason. You can't say, I'm murdering all these people, but I lost my sister. It's like, now you've made a bunch of other people lose their sisters and brothers and stuff. That's why it's not okay.
Mental, but that was one thing that was kind of glossed over. I've thought a wee bit more about that after it came out. But again, just to bring back the point, it's like nobody knows who this woman is. So I feel as if, like, I'd love to get someone's opinion. I actually do have someone's opinion to talk about it, but it's like, what did you think about the film as it is, not knowing who Jean Grey is?
That's a brilliant idea. I hadn't thought about that, but I was watching it with somebody who knows who Jean Grey is. But that is a brilliant idea, because that was something I thought about after it. That the reveal of it was very like here's her name on the screen, like, but I don't know, how do you, as you said, to somebody who doesn't follow this, what does that mean to you? Because
that's what I'm saying. Did it become like was it just like and it's just a story of some woman who was doing this for her sister? Was it become like the villain just suddenly not as important anymore? Well, where did the direction take you in the story? That's what I'd like to kind of have an understanding of.
I would really like to see that, and I'm guessing who you're saying about it. You're terrific. I think that's a brilliant idea. I think we could do something like that. We jump around doing our video that short or in a shorter one or whatever. But I think that's a really good idea, because I can't put myself in those shoes.
Yeah.
And neither can you. So it would be nice to see it, because who the fuck is she otherwise? Do you know?
Yeah, because it just came up with the name, and it was after the film, and I was like, that was kind of like such a shite reveal. It was just her name on a sheet of paper.
And it's not iconic. It's not something that you could say, for instance, I know everyone knows who Batman is, Superman, maybe the Wolverine, right? But like, if there was something like a masking over somebody or a reveal of a symbol or something, even the general public can go, well, okay. it's just Jean Grey. You're not saying, you know what I mean? You're not doing anything like that. You're just going Jean Grey.
I was actually hoping for a wee iconic bit of music as her name came up, and nothing.
That's a good point.
It's a sheet of paper, Jean Grey. You're like, cool. Who
And
is
I'm
she?
not the biggest a big X-Men fan for the things I've watched the old cartoon. That what I mean is not Jean Grey specifically, but I've seen people online saying already how it's a character assassination here because she wouldn't do that, and like and other people saying, well, it's her without Xavier, and it's like, okay, see if it was. Basically, I know it's DC, it's Elseworld, but Elseworld too, right? And it was like she was genuinely the villain, and I don't mean the villain, but then kind of she's not. See, if she was genuinely the villain, they ran with that, and then they said, "This is because this is a universe without Xavier." The X-Men, because we've not seen the X-Men. This is what Jean Grey ends up like without the X-Mansion to go to, and without being guided by Professor X, right? Professor X, Xavier. What I'm saying is that I think would be cool. But then you need to lean into her being the full villain, and then in another film say, well, here's her again, but a different variant of her. But she's got Xavier to be with her and guide her. Now she can be good, and you could maybe have Spider-Man at that point being like, no, I don't trust you because I met the one in my world, took control of people and destroyed it. That would be cool. I think at the end of it, you're a good guy because you're going for your sister. No,
I agree with that. The character assassination, I kind of agree with because you have to let some people cook with some of this stuff. You know what I mean? It's like you've only just introduced her. You've only got a wee bit of the story. What's happened with her now? And by the time they meet her again in the next film, she might feel really bad about it. Mm-hmm. She might be really feeling quite like distraught about what she did because obviously in a situation, because remember mutants are famously hot-headed, they're always a wee bit explosive, a wee bit too much, so they might take that story somewhere for what she's done, which I'm willing to give them that opportunity and say that it might not be a character assassination, it might be a part of the longevity of the character because she's only 23.
Yeah, that's where I think if anything the bus scene leads to, she's going to find Xavier in this world. Which I don't really know how they do, because this is MCU that we know how if mutants have existed. It's a bag of worms, right? It's why, to be honest, kind of sucking my own D here, but it's why I like my own idea that I just came to me 5 minutes ago. If this was like, if they'd made her the full villain, bad, evil villain, and been like, right, and Spider-Man faces her and all that, and she can take control of people with the proper way that is even in the Fallen, she does all the evil shit she does in the film anyway, but then continues to be the villain. She dies, say. Now we've got Secret Wars and Doomsday coming up with all the multiversal stuff. If he met another version here who's been brought up with Xavier, the ones we're going to follow from all the new castings. Yeah. Spider-Man was wary of her, but she was like, no, and that the tale was she is so powerful. Without Xavier, she's evil. With Xavier to lead her, she's good. That'd be good because, to be honest, I still don't know why they're setting up anything in this universe where it's going to clearly be reset.
Yeah. So I've got a funny feeling the reset of a universe, just be quick, the independent theory outside everything, the reset of a universe is going to be an amalgamation of all three. So when we get Battle World, I think is going to be one universe. I think Doom's going to create another Earth, and it's going to be different bits of all the same, all flung together to create just another universe where everyone lives.
I think you're probably right. I think that's going to be Secret World. I don't know if that's it. I get what you're saying. Again, they've made the thing already about variants and stuff. I think it'd be better to totally reset. See whatever happens at the end of Secret Wars, big sacrificial thing, but the world resets, we all disappear, the people we know. Okay, we'll do it, Cap, because we've had a run, big lovely speech, they all die. And then the next ones are, what's the castings we've had? Adam Driver's Magneto, Ryan...
That's not 100% yet.
Is it not? Yeah. Right, okay. Ryan Gosling's Ghost Rider, all that Sadie Sink's Jean Grey, but a good version. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that would be a clean-cut way to do it.
I'll give you, while we're talking about casting, I'll give you who the casting is for the new X-Men. They're just announced today.
All of them?
Just one official announcement. Samara Weaving is cast as Emma Frost.
Is that the chick out of The Boy, not The Boys?
Ready or Not?
No, I'm thinking of a different chick. Ready or Not, the chick with the wedding dress?
Yeah.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Right, that's a weird. Right, hold on. She's awesome though because she seems. Yeah, right. I know it's actress, right? But no, I think right. She seems awesome because in the few things I've seen, that maybe an interview or such, and the character she's portrayed before, she seems very kind of down to earth, witty. I could have seen her doing a Harley Quinn. Put it that way.
Well, she's probably a wee bit too close to Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie,
She still looks like Margot Robbie.
The
So
posh kind of like really up herself, kind of like Emma
Yeah.
Frost. I wouldn't have picked for her, but I like that actress, so
Yeah.
I'm ready to see what.
I think she's a badass, man. Like in see Ready or Not and Ready or Not 2. Ready
Oh,
or Not.
I love Ready or I love Ready or Not. I think it's,
Yeah, Ready or Not 2 wasn't as good. It was good in a
I've not
different
seen
way.
two yet.
It was good. It is a great film. And it's good in a different way from the first one, which is, I suppose, all sequels are. You can't mimic a sequel again.
It's
You never
one of
can.
those stories where it's kind of one and I get why they added it on, but it is a one and gun story. I watched two because they're fun films. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect it to have the same kind of like, oh my god, what's going on? Like, do you know
I've
what I
got a
mean?
funny
It's the whole-
feeling they'll do another one as well. I've got a funny feeling another one will come.
No, I really like that actress, but for some reason there's some people you just go, they're cool. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
she's one of them.
She was in
Uh,
Scream as well. She was in Scream 5 in New York one, which was really good because she was cast in it and we thought she was going to get a big part, but they did a Drew Barrymore with her and killed her in the first 3 minutes.
I have a theory, and I know I'm always talking about this fucking game, but I have a theory that they are going to start having more characters that I've shown in that Marvel Rivals game. That I've got a lot of people, the small characters like Jeff the Landshark. I will put my money on that we either get a Jeff the Landshark film or Jeff the Landshark in a film within the next 3 years. Before there's too many things on there now, like maybe 2029. You know what I mean? But like I know there's no way this thing already is like a Baby Yoda kind of thing for Marvel. This cute. There's no way they don't put that in a film, and everybody in Marvel Rival loves them and all that kind of thing. It's made a whole thing, but it's the reason I think that we're giving Emma Frost love and people like that because he's caught it. Don't get me wrong, Emma Frost been in things before, but she blew up on that fucking game, and everybody talks about her and kind of like fancies on there. So now,
She's
I must
also-
be looking at these things.
She's also a bit of a bad guy as well, and I like that. That's my favourite type.
Yeah, she
I
was
like
a bad guy in the last the X-Men film she was in, but she is a kind of.
But she's good as well. She's a good person, but she gets taken away and does bad things in a lot of the stories. So
She's a bit Patrick Bateman, female version, like this kind of like up thing, but like Patrick Bateman's not a good guy. But what I mean is she's got that whole, even in her voice line and rival that, it's that whole kind of thing about money first and that kind of thing. But then she does the kind of right thing when she has to. No, it's a cool character. She is a cool character. I'm glad to see them bringing them in. I really am. There's a few characters that I knew less about that I'm starting to learn more about. Like they could really do well with bringing in. What is the other cat? Ryan Gosling's Ghost Rider is, you know. I'm so happy that we're all going to be Ghost Rider.
I think I said to you when it was cast, it was like what gets me about the whole casting was they didn't go to him. Ryan Gosling went to Marvel.
Is that right? I did.
Yeah.
You said that to me. I wanted you.
Yeah.
I wanted you to say more.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling actually he went to Marvel, and I'm assuming it was Feige. He probably would have got in touch with him and sat down and went, read this comic, and this comic, and he went, I'll make that film. I want to be in that.
Awesome.
I want to be Ghost Rider. And I think obviously the minute if you fucking Ryan Gosling walks in and he's like, I want to be Ghost Rider, you're like, just sign
Ryan
here and
Gosling.
do.
You give us what we want.
Yeah, exactly.
We are
Well,
all
we're not very
Ryan
good. We're not very good at giving us what they want because Feige literally said, and wasn't San Diego Comic Con. It was the last big thing, and he turned around and he says, "We didn't want to just give you. We didn't want to put a leather jacket on Mahershala Ali and have him kill vampires. No, that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted.
The only thing about that casting with the Ali dude is I thought he'd done such a great role in God damn it.
Iron Fist.
Sorry?
Iron Fist and
Not Iron Fist, what's
aye, the other one.
God
Luke
damn
Cage.
it, I think his name, it's doing my head in.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, Jesus, thank you. Right. Luke Cage, I thought the bad guy who played that was so good that I didn't really want to see him as Blade because I thought that was one of the most interesting gangster level bad guys I've seen next to Fisk. So when I heard he was Blade, I was like, I think Blade could go to some other younger black actor who could actually, because that guy's in his 50s, dude. Do you know what I mean? I really think Blade should go to a younger black actor who can really personify Blade more. Like Blade, I don't see Ali dude's too intense, and I know that he's too serious, intense, blah blah. You want Blade to have a bit of he quips a wee bit and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I don't. Blade's one of my favourite characters that I for a wee guy like was my favourite like superhero before he even knew he was involved in the Marvel universe. Then I looked into that and I was like, oh, he's awesome. He's the guy I played even that one of that Marvel Rivals game I play as Blade. He's awesome, but he's intense, he's the whole thing, but he's no like I don't know. I wouldn't have picked Ali. I wouldn't have picked Ali.
Damson Idris, that's my one. Damson Idris.
What's that?
Damson Idris.
Who's that?
He was in F1 with Brad Pitt.
I know the film, I can't think.
Yeah, I think he's the man. He for me, like if you get him for Blade, he's got a baddie look about him. He looks a bit bad. You go and look at him. Go and see what he's.
Okay, hold on. I threw my phone away.
He's got the face for it. Like he's got the face. He's got the smile, but he's got this kind of almost slightly villainous look about him as well.
How am I spelling this?
Damsonidris.
2 seconds. I was premature. I do that a lot. Haha. So what was I saying? What? Give me the spelling.
Damson, Damson.
Right.
Idris.
Oh, Damson Idris. Okay. All right. Okay. I don't know his acting. I can't recognise this, but he's got the Blade look. Yeah,
he's got that vibe. I think he'd be.
It's the cheekbones, I think, man. Yeah. You need like that sharp look to Blade. Yeah. You know, no pun intended. But like I would think like, but I can see this guy as Blade, and he's 34. Yeah, I can see him as Blade more than.
Yeah, he's got that. He's just got a vibe from me, and I think he'd get.
What do you think of Black Panther's new casting?
Yeah, I think he's really good. I absolutely see for his acting in the last Alien movie, it was 10 out of 10.
Sorry, so he is in that too. Yeah, so I was going to talk about The Long Walk.
Oh, Long Walk, he's brilliant in as well. Like
fantastic in that.
It's his level of acting. Even if you go from The Long Walk to the Alien movie he was in, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the style. You can see how good he is.
An alien film playing a cyborg is that good?
I mean, he's just
ragging on his looks and stuff like that. I mean, and I don't think he's an ugly dude, but I've seen a lot of people saying he's ugly, he shouldn't be choosing all that. I don't think he's an ugly dude. I do think he'll need to, the film's not out for a while, as I always say. I do think he'll need to bulk up. I know that's my fucking thing. I'm always on it. I do think he'll need to bulk up. But the kind of character, my phone going again? The character he gives in The Long Walk of that guy that's. You know, it's a brilliant film. I wouldn't ever watch it again, but I loved it when I watched it. If you know what I mean, I could see that kind of emotion, that kind of thing coming from T'Challa. This is T'Challa's son. It's not T'Challa, right? And this is a wee bit of a problem I have. I think they should have just cast him as normal T'Challa, right? I
also agree with that. I think we could have. I think it's about time where we just recast people to play roles like James Bond.
We don't need to, like, people die. It's horrible. It's a shame. I know it's for Chadwick Boseman, but look, if Tobey Maguire died after thing, wouldn't we say we can't ever make a Spider-Man again, and it has to be them? It's we've got 3 Spider-Men in the one film. It's a badge of honour. The James Bonds, the Batman. Do you know what I mean? We don't need to say. I think it even says more if people can inhabit the character instead of saying, well, this guy was this, so nobody else can ever play him. And this is going to sound, as much as Chadwick Boseman was I loved him as Black Panther, and I thought it's tragic who passed away. But it wasn't as if, I'm going to get hate for this, but it wasn't as if it was like Heath Ledger as a Joker. Or something like that, that's like nobody, or Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, where it's like he embodied the character so much that nobody can imagine him as anybody else. That has to be... Yeah,
Chadwick Boseman was a mid-actor.
But not in a way that stops anybody ever playing Black Panther. In my opinion, right? It's a tragedy he passed away, but we have this tendency to go, well, he passed to do these things. Well, if he hadn't passed away, he'd stop playing the character now when the thing got reset.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I
I
don't
completely,
get it,
completely
but
agree.
I'm just saying I don't think
It's a discussion for another episode, I think, talking about castings and characters. But we've kind of went off the point of the old Spider-Man.
Sorry, we have, but it is because it does lead on
It
to these
does.
other questions of what's
This
happening in
is
the future.
this is what our podcasts are like, though. It's these we do go off on a wee bit of a
And
tangent
that's
and get
what you've got here if you're watching this come here for
exactly.
you
So
don't
back
become structured.
quickly back to Spider-Man. Last topic. Do you think there was too many characters in it? Was it overstuffed?
um,
I ask this because it's been one of the massive topics for the critics. A lot of people saying it was overstuffed.
no, I mean, I am biased though, right? Because I wanted more Hulk and Punisher. So if I had more Hulk and Punisher in it, so maybe in that way it was, but I was very disappointed the whole Hulk thing was over in 5 minutes. That was, I wanted Hulk, sorry, I wanted the bad guy to be behind it, but to release the Hulk and Hulk to be the biggest problem that they had to stop, and Punisher and Spider-Man having to team up to bring down this extreme threat, and the bad guy behind it pulling the strings. So it turned out that being a 2-minute scene and he wore his sweater vest for the most of it, it's a really annoyed me. I will say the one scene where he goes only no bar or only Hulk and all the muscles, that's the best the Hulk's looked. That looked amazing, but it's there for 3 seconds, and then he goes into the thing and the fight, and then he's gone.
One of the best shots of the entire film, and it just looks living in my head rent free, was with Spider-Man dragging Punisher up the middle of the hall and Hulk jumping over the two of them as Punisher's like shooting them down.
Yeah, that is what I wanted more of. Like,
Wow, that was honestly one of the best action sequences I've seen.
In the trailer, Peter saying to Frank, "How are you going to take down the Punisher?" Kind of thing like that, right? I wanted Peter and Spider-Man and Punisher to have to figure that out together. How are we going to take down the Hulk? They've set down the Hulk. I wanted Hulk to basically be the main villain, but not really the main villain because he's a Hulk. He's just been set loose. And then getting through that obstacle to then get to the bad guy behind it. I didn't want the Hulk being a 2-minute bloody thing.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to see a bit more Hulk. Punisher, I wasn't 100% with being because I think the camaraderie between them and Punisher, I think, especially if he's up against the Hulk, was more in danger than anybody else. You know what I mean? He's still street level, and I think that's a wee bit.
Punisher, I think this was a moment where we could have shown the Punisher thinking, like, if we're really going to do something with the characters, this could have been a moment of the Punisher being like, fucking wee boy, the guy that I call Kid, is infinitely stronger than me. My bullets don't work in him even, or they do, sorry, actually, they do. But I can run him over with the car like he's ridiculously strong. Now I'm fighting an absolute green monster. This is different from shooting people, but Punisher having to think, well, what more artillery do I need to get this?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
having to go through the upgrade to be like, okay, I need to actually invest more in my artillery. But using that brain, like that bit in like Punisher's basement kind of thing, like his base beat, I wanted more because they two together are brilliant.
Oh yeah, they were great. They were phenomenal.
Like, they were so happy for each other when they got the part of Spider-Man and Punisher in real life.
Yeah.
Their chemistry's great, but like, I know it's a PG-13 film, but I thought they made too much of jokes of the Punisher.
Yeah.
Like,
And,
we could do it a wee bit. That's too much.
Yeah, I thought it was alright. Right, finish off the video. We need to give it out of 10. What are you giving Spider-Man Brand New Day out of 10?
I said an 8 before, but I think from what we spoke, a 7.5. However, I want to put an addendum on that I am very happy about what it represents. Rather than, like, I think the fact that we've even for so little time we've got Monster Hulk in it, even the fact we've got the Punisher in it, the fact that Spider-Man street level, the fact he's doing moves for an Insomniac game, all these things, and even the thing I slagged earlier on, but him actually going through that trauma as Spider-Man, these are all things that I want to see more from the MCU. I want to be leading this way, even though that's why I said that I annoyed at myself for not being over the moon about it, but this is the direction it has to go in. We need to lean into what people want. We need to lean into how the people wanted these characters to be, and the characters that stand out for people. I think it's a sin Daredevil's not in it. That's a different conversation.
Oh, I know,
But
it would have been good.
I'm happy for what it represents. So But as an actual film, 7.5 out of 10.
Oh, I'm quite giving it quite a wee bit higher. I'm going to go with a 9. I thought it was.
That's the same as my nephew.
Yeah, I'm going with a 9 on this because the only points it's more half points I'm taking. Definitely taking a half point off for the whole Jean Grey thing. Not really bringing up mutants and it kind of lagging the meaning of who she was. So there was nothing really brought up about it. I do understand that she isn't a mutant yet. She isn't part. Well, she is a mutant. She's not a part of the X-Men yet. But we could have got a wee bigger nod somehow or something else to.
See, that's the part that takes more than a 0.5 off it for me. That takes a big chunk out of it. Because I even had, while watching it, I don't know if I said this earlier, but like, there was a bit where I was genuinely interested in the mystery, and then it all kind of broke apart and I realised it was happening. But if I'd seen more of that, it would be a much higher score because what they had with the villain at the time of the story and act was really good. To then fall and say, she's actually a good person, for me took so much away. That's why, and it's mostly that plus the execution of the Hulk.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that's my
maybe
other
it being about 20 or 10 minutes too long.
Yeah.
It takes about a 7.5 for me.
That's my other 0.5 is the whole question of how do you deal with the morality of what Jean Grey's also done. As I thought it was a great story. I thought everything was told really well. We had a really great connection to the emotion. We had a great connection to Spider-Man, great connection to Ned and MJ. Everything was told in a story so well. Fighting was excellent. But then there was the grim reality of a murderous villain just suddenly being killed by the end of it.
Yeah. So 2 points is not spoken about before we go.
Yep.
That is number one, the very end of Spider-Man with Ned, right, and the end credit scene.
Yeah, cool. So
number one, do you think at the end, do you think it is literally bros over hose? Do you think that Ned remembers him as Peter and
Yes.
she didn't? Right, okay.
I don't think he fully remembers. I think it's breaking through. Because remember, I think Doctor Strange did say these spells don't all people can come out of a spell. So it's talked about.
He has been shown doing.
And he also was doing sorcery stuff, and he was able to do it. So I think yes, I think he's coming out of it, and it's probably going to
That was
prove.
a lovely moment, to be honest. The way they set that up and everything, and by the way, something I'm not saying is Tom Holland's acting in it was really good.
I think it's a given.
You can tell he cares about the character at this point, and he's really trying to do something with it, which I think is great. And that bit at the end, you couldn't help. I don't really like Ned as a character, I really don't. But that bit, you couldn't help smile at that. Do you know what I mean? But I do think it's funny that it is bros over hose. She's literally like, I don't remember you. I can't remember you. So like, I don't love you. And Ned's like, what's up, man?
But after credit scene, it's obvious because Spider-Man will return. We know he's going to come back. He's obviously not going to be in Doomsday. He's going to be in Secret Wars because he's obviously in space.
I totally misunderstood the end credit scene. Apparently, I got it so wrong. I was talking about it, but I was like, I thought it said another Spider-Man located, right? So I thought it was saying there's Spider-Man, like, but there's another one out here, and I was like, oh, so that's like Tobey Maguire and to get. But I was like, how the fuck? This is another wee problem that when you look at it is like, how the fuck did Ned make a thing that tracks Spider-Man? The way me and my mate said it is it must have been off sightings. Like, say, for instance, somebody said, that's Spider-Man, so he puts in his app. But at the end, it's like he's out in space. So how the fuck has anybody seen him out in space and be like, oh, I've seen Spider-Man out in Mars? Like, nobody's doing that. Like, but... So
it's a very good point.
But I thought... How do I put this? The last scene wasn't supposed to be Ned actually on his spider tracker. It was just for the audience.
Yeah.
To say, because you didn't see him look on his phone, it just came on the screen.
Yeah,
right?
it just came on the screen.
And that's why it can be a wee bit doesn't make sense, right? But I still thought that it was saying another Spider-Man is coming. However, when I've read anything online, apparently it means that Spider-Man's tracker is saying that he's off-world, he's somewhere else.
This is a good way to end the episode because if anyone is still here listening to this, we're all going to jump off and go and rewatch that little bit at the end and try and understand because I'm going to right now since I came off of this.
It made me very confused. Confused. I was trying to understand it as best I could, but I was very confused.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's Spider-Man Brand New Day. We've gave a big massive dump of our thoughts and quite a lot of other random stuff that was in our heads, as per usual. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been a wonderful one. I really enjoyed this, and it was a great film, so I really enjoyed talking about it. So thank you very much from me.
Thank you very much, me. And as I should say again, I really enjoyed the film too. This is my problem, that I really enjoyed it. I did say halfway through, kind of like asking, but I did really enjoy it. I will need to speak to me in a wee bit again after another rewatch.
We'll talk to him like the next time we go on. He's watched it again. We'll find out how he feels.
Much love for me.
Can do this all day.